See, that's all very well and good, but let's face it, there are many people, maybe some sitting out here, who would say, well, I just can't grasp the idea of a physical heaven. To me, heaven is something spiritual. Physical, that implies sin or corruption or something like that. And in fact, you asked the question, why are we so resistant to the idea that heaven could be physical? Well, why are we sometimes?
Yeah, great question. If you go back in history, there were some of the early church fathers, Origen was one of them, and there were several others, who were heavily, heavily influenced by Greek philosophy, Platonism in particular. And Plato, the philosopher Plato, a lot of things he said were good and right, and other things were wrong. He wasn't inspired in all of his thinking. And one of the things that he said was that the body was like a prison, and the soul or spirit, the immaterial part of a human being, was in shackles, in chains. It was chained up. So that one day when we die, the spirit at last will be liberated to do whatever it's going to do, roam the universe or what. It depends on your philosophy, I guess. Well, that idea was the body's bad and the spirit is good. Well, the Christian belief is that God created the physical world. And read it for yourself in Genesis 1:31. God looked at all he had made and he said, it was very good. I am pleased with this. The physical creation is good. I made it. Of course it's good. I'm the source of all goodness. Now, when the fall comes, when sin comes into the world, there are some people who have come to a false conclusion. And that is that sin made the physical world, which maybe they would reluctantly grant at first was good, but now it's robbed of all value. It's bad. It's just evil. That is not the biblical position. The biblical position is that both body and spirit are under the fall, but the fall is not permanent, and by virtue of what another term that theologians use is common grace, God allows much goodness even in this fallen world in which we live. Isn't that true? When you look at, we know this from Scripture itself. I mean, Romans 1 talks about how God has revealed his attributes in his creation. Well, there has to be enough goodness in creation. Do evil things reveal the attributes of God? No, it's creation. The beauty, and think about this. When you're here at the Cove and you're looking at this beauty, and I'm from Oregon, I know trees and water. And I mean, in its beauty.
And rain.
And it's rain. That's right. That's how we get all those, the green that we get. And we look at that and we enjoy it. We take pleasure in it. Okay, that's in a fallen world. And we're to see God and his beauty and his greatness in it. And this is where I think we get this false idea. And we've got to overcome this because God says he created the physical world. He created these bodies. We are to glorify God in our bodies. How could we glorify God in what's evil? No, it's not evil. And then in the redemption, the ultimate redemption, new heavens, new earth, in which righteousness dwells, now you have a reconstituted physical creation with physical bodies that eat and drink. And Jesus said they'll come from the east and the west and sit at the table with Abraham and Isaac, and we'll eat together. And you know what? When we were eating together earlier, conversation. You heard laughter. You heard this going on. Storytelling. People tell this and tell that. I want to hear that. We will enjoy that together forever as physical beings. And let me just add this. We do a great disservice to our children and our grandchildren when we portray the eternal state as if it was disembodied spirit, because I'll tell you this. No kid wants to grow up to be a ghost. That's not his life desire. But sometimes Christian view of heaven seems to be that, like Casper or something, but, floating around out there. But you know what kids love? They love to sit and eat and drink and play and enjoy their bodies in the physical world. I go bike riding with my grandsons, and we have an absolute blast. And it's this great thing. Don't take away the view. You know what? You cannot teach someone to develop a taste for gravel. And why? Because we're not made to eat gravel. You cannot teach someone to... I've met a few people who say they really look forward to the idea of forever being a disembodied spirit. I think most of us, that's not what we want. We don't always get what we want. The great thing about the promise of the resurrection is we want bodies because God made us to have bodies, and we'll have them, and we'll enjoy a physical world for all eternity.